I think I like the new intro music. It's just kind of plucky. It's fun. It has a little bit of, plucky. It's the plucky comic relief that we get going here.
Nice. Good
Hey,
morning.
fellow streakers,
Good
how
day.
are you? It's Jeff and Jamie, and we are excited. I don't think that there's been I think I have a streak of saying I'm excited about being on the podcast.
That's because you love this.
I love it, huh?
Genuinely love it.
And you know what? We enjoy talking with you, and I think, Jamie, you enjoy it as well, getting emails from our streakers.
Yes, I love the opportunity to meet people who are streaking. I had someone stop to me the other day. I was actually sitting in church. I wasn't sitting in church. I was sitting in the hallway talking to a friend of mine who had just had a baby.
Building.
I was in the church building. And this was totally fun because out of the blue, she just said, "Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you that I'm enjoying your book." And I hadn't ever talked to her about the book.
Yeah.
It was really, I like that when people say, "I've set a streak and it's been helping."
And did she set a streak?
Yeah. I didn't ask her what it was, though. I was so frustrated. I was caught off guard because I wasn't expecting somebody to say that in the setting that I was in.
Something you should know about Jamie is she is always caught off guard when anyone says, "I've been reading your book." She will always be like, "Oh, really?
Really? You've been reading it?
Did you enjoy it? Was it something that you know?" But I think that's great. So that was kind of fun to have person come up to you.
Yes, and to have her say, "It's been helping. We've really enjoyed it. My husband and I have a streak or two." So I was going to text her this week and be like,
"So what's your streak and how's it going?"
How's it going?
I believe that the streak, when she came up to you and mentioned that, and then also other streakers, once you start going on this and recognize the power of it, it's contagious, and you want to share it. You want to talk to people about it because of the success that we've had.
Some people do. Some people don't. I found that interesting because when we were talking to Mari after the podcast, she had mentioned that her husband has been having a couple streaks, but he hasn't wanted to tell
She's called
people.
him the secret streaker.
The secret streaker. And we were calling people closet streakers. And so I think there's this enthusiasm that comes that people are like, "Oh, I'm excited, I'm doing well." But then there's this other group that maybe either they're skeptical or the laughably simple still isn't believable, so they don't want to say anything. But I think there's a whole group out there that are secret streakers that haven't been telling people yet. They're waiting. They're biding their time to see, all right, does this really work?
And do you think they're biding their time because of how they feel about themselves, or because it's so laughably simple, or maybe a combination of those things?
I think the secret streakers should come out of the closet and tell us what their streak is.
At Jeffrey, Jeffery at streakingmastery.com, or
Jamie, Jami at streakingmastery.com, and share with us what you like.
Yeah, and that brings an interesting little update before we get into our topic. Our topic today, and has been for the month a little bit, we interrupted our regularly programming schedule to have the interview with Mari because that was so profound and prolific as far as what it was that she was doing in school. And it relates a little bit to making your own luck, which is what we're around on the theme this month in March, is creating your own luck and what luck is about, because it's St. Patty's Day. And, if you find that 4-leaf clover, please let us know. We'd love a picture of it because it's about luck. Now, before we get into that, though, one of the updates that I wanted to give everyone was about the app. We have been in serious conversations about the app and how we're going to upgrade the community portion of the app. So right now, you have an opportunity to share your streak with a person that you've friended in the app. And the way that you friend someone is there's the community hexagon that is on the app in the upper right-hand corner, and you go out and search for friends. And we have thousands of people now using the app.
Really?
Yeah. I looked at it yesterday, and
wow.
I was absolutely blown away at how many people are using the app. You gave me that eyebrow look.
Thousands is amazing. That's great.
I know. Sometimes she doesn't believe me when I say this because I sometimes have hyperbole as my best friend.
Only occasionally.
Mm-hmm. And so I always have to validate it with a statistic that says, yes, I looked at it and here it is. We do have thousands.
That's awesome.
Those people that are using the app register, create an account, and then you can obviously have your friends on there. And with your friend, you share your streak. I have streaks that I share with friends, with everyone. Anyone who becomes my friend, I share 3 or 4 streaks with them. And then there's other streaks that I share just with you, and others that I share with a couple of other my friends. In other words, each community is a little bit different. Well, with the app, the changes that we are talking about that are going to be coming out are, first of all, you'll be able to determine which of your streaks is going to be a private streak. In other words, you share it just with a private group of friends, a friend streak. In other words, as soon as you friend someone, they'll see it right away, or a public streak that you can share and you say, this is public. I want anyone who is using the app to be able to see it. Now, with that, here comes the cool part. We're going to have a live update of the streaks as people complete them through the day. So you'll be able to see a live stream of streaks as they get completed and see all kinds of different streaks from individuals that have chosen to share them publicly.
It'll be like a streaking ticker tape. Is that right? Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
Uh-huh.
And it'll just run through and you can see. I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be great to be able to see other people's streaks and ideas. And I think it's going to be this feeling of momentum. And whenever I go into a town that has an active college or university in the town, it always feels like the town is alive, that stuff is happening. People are going
There's a
places.
buzz
There's
about
a buzz.
it, isn't there?
That's what I think this will do.
I
It's going to
agree.
give that buzz of, look, things are happening.
And what you'll be able to do is like that streak or give them a congratulations or give them a attaboy. Now, one thing that I thought that I haven't shared with anyone yet, but I'm going to share it with, our entire podcasting audience, is if you are one of our paid subscribers on the app. So if you're not a paid subscriber, you get a B statement and 3 streaks that you can do and follow through, which is great. If you're on the paid side, what I think we should do is have it to where you can leave a comment for anyone on the streak, on the actual streak itself. So you can like it and leave a comment and say, wow, that's great. Like, for example, one of my friends has a streak of turn the shower ice cold at least once daily. I mean, so he's in the shower and it's turn the shower ice cold at least once daily. And I was thinking about that and I thought, how fun would that be to comment on and just tell him congratulations. He's been doing that now for 40 weeks.
What's the purpose of
Or
that
44
streak?
weeks. There are, and I would need to ask him and look at this, but apparently from what he reported is that there are some benefits from an ice cold shower.
So
or
like
in other words,
ending
just
your shower
ending your
ice
shower
cold?
ice cold. It invigorates your
That's-
body. It does, some physical things that are good and
I think it's
positive
supposed to
mental
close
things.
your pores and stuff too.
Yeah.
That's great.
I've done it twice, and I'm telling you right now, that is not laughably simple. to put that thing.
Maybe if you just slowly turn it to cold and then I'm done. Okay, that was cold enough.
That was cold enough.
That's a great.
I just think.
That's
how
what
much fun.
That's what I'm excited about, is to see the different streaks that people have, and then to ask the question, be like, what's the benefit of that streak? And
have a little bit of comment around it.
comment
and he can
and
see,
maybe research a little bit. Like
Yes.
me personally, I would go and be like, what is the benefit of having cold at the end of a shower?
I love what
we
Talon
learn a lot.
says about the streaking app, that what we envision it becoming is the personal development app. You've got LinkedIn, that's the professional network. You've got Facebook, that's just completely community, and Instagram, completely community.
And you want streaking to be
You want streaking to be personal and professional development
platform.
Then platform.
Yeah.
And you can be able to see and share what people are doing on a consistent, regular basis in order to become who they want to be.
I think that would be fun.
Isn't that cool? So it's
Looking
just
forward to the days of the future.
as the app continues to move forward. The app is great right now, and it will continue to get better. That's the beautiful part about it, is we've got these great people that are so excited about streaking, who I want to highlight, but we're not going to do it right now. I'm going to highlight them later on.
Okay.
What we want to talk about is luck and how to create your own luck. Now, you have been studying a couple of articles on luck, and we had mentioned these at the very beginning of the podcast, at the beginning of the month, these articles. This one is on how to create your luck. It says by Dave Bailey. And this is something that he, I guess, did a little bit of research on. Is this a blog that you came up with?
Yeah. And
Okay. Or it's Laurel that got it to us,
yeah.
right?
It's how to create your own luck. And it's just, and he talks about just maybe 6 different things that you can do. And we mentioned this before, that a lot of times people that are successful will say, well, I worked really hard, or I got lucky, or both. And he talks about 6 different things that you can do to increase your luck. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this first one, because it says it different, but kind of the same in the way that we've said things before. It says, for lucky outcomes, increase your output. So when I first read that, I was like, because we've talked so much about really focusing on your inputs. not always so much on this output. But as I read what he was saying, I thought, okay, actually, he's kind of saying the same thing. So he quotes a professor, Professor Dean Simonton, who, and I don't know who he is, but he's spent his life studying these great creative minds in history. So Mozart, Beethoven, great scientists like Einstein and Newton, and he spent his life studying how they've, how have they become so great. And one of it says his findings are conclusive and apply to any creative endeavor. And this is what Dean Simonton says. On average, this is a quote, on average, creative geniuses aren't qualitatively better in their fields than their peers. They simply produce a greater volume of work, which gives them more variation and a higher chance of originality. And so when it said, for lucky outcomes, increase your output, what I heard was focus on that input and increase, you're doing it more often. So these creative minds are producing more. They are focusing more on what they're doing. And then he says, Simonton noted that the ratio of failed to successful creative works remains constant over time. So in other words, these people have become more successful because they're just doing it more often.
So they've become who they want to be in the regards to, I want to be a great composer, I want to be a great musician, by doing consistently the things that are necessary to become that person.
And the thing that I loved is that he was saying it's not because they were so focused on the quality. Quality happens as part of the quantitative process.
Okay, you ready for this? I'm going to give it to you. Quality is the enemy of consistency.
Ooh. Quality is the enemy of consistency.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Quality is the enemy of
that.
consistency. Here is my working hypothesis or my thesis on this particular subject. Quality is the enemy of consistency because when I focus on I need to have quality, then I will not do the thing consistently because it's not going to be quality at first. It will be not good. I mean, just as what Professor Dean Simonton said there, is it's not that the qualitative or the quality of the work was any better. I mean, the failure, but the quantity was so much so that they had the opportunity to get a better quality work.
Right.
And if I put my focus on quality at first, not that I can't get better over time, not that I can't improve on it over time, but if that is the thing that I am going to put my energy on is quality, then that will stop me in my consistency because not everything is going to be quality.
Right.
In fact, most of it, and I don't know what the ratio is, but I would guess that most of it is not quality. Most of it is just doing what I need to do. It's the simple sentence. It's like when I write my sentence daily, write at least one sentence daily. It is not a quality sentence every single day. However, there are those points in times where I had a brainstorm or something came, or for example, just this last week at work, I had an opportunity to write a piece for a book that's being published. And the reason I was able to write that piece is because I had been writing for how many years now, at least one sentence daily. And it's not that I'm a great writer. I just have been writing quite a bit. And it was fun to be able to take that now and say, okay, I'm going to apply all of that. And in this big rush, I wrote more in the last 3 days than one sentence a day.
Right.
I mean, it was several pages of work. And so had I stopped at quality way back when and said, well, this isn't a good sentence or this isn't a good paragraph.
You bring up a good point because you just said, it's not that I'm a good writer. Well, at what point do you consider yourself a good writer?
I don't know. I'm striving to be someone who is, and I don't even know if I say good writer. I want to be a person who is writing. I want to be a person who is of service to others through engaging, enthusiastic, energizing, entertaining, leading, speaking, teaching, and writing.
And so
persuasive.
So what you're saying is I want to be a person who's a writer. If we focus on I want to be an amazing, great writer, I think it's hard for us to decide that in and of ourselves. Like, at what point do we say, well, I've arrived, I'm a great writer?
Right.
Most of the time, people want to continue progressing. and moving forward. And so if you come into something saying, I got to be great at this, like you said, it's going to stop you.
So you agree with my thesis that quality is the enemy of consistency. Not that I don't want quality, but it is something that will stop consistency. Or consecutive consistency.
What about this fear that people have that if you focus on the consistency and ignore the quality, you're never going to get quality?
I disagree.
Okay, how come? I mean, because sometimes people are like, look, if you're not focusing, you're just going through the motions. You're just doing. You're not going to get better.
And I think that has been a great enemy to much progress because my pursuit is progress. Here's my second thing. I want to pursue progress. I don't want to pursue perfection in lieu of progress. I want to pursue progress to perfection. And if my focus is on pursuing progress, that becomes the catalyst to greater quality.
And I would agree with that. And it just from my own personal experience, those times that so first of all, the one thing I think that does help is keeping a record. Keeping a record shows that you are making that progress, even if you can't sometimes see it in the thing that you're doing.
Right.
And then another thing I was thinking is that those times when I've sat back and thought, am I actually making progress in this thing? Being consistent gives me that boost to be like, I'm going to keep going because I am going to be making progress. The other thing is I think sometimes we do not give enough credit to how motivating being successful at something is, in the sense of I'm continually doing, I'm continually trying. I'm sticking with it.
Success begets more success.
Yes,
and I mean, when I feel successful and when I am successful, I want to continue to be successful.
Right. And then you brought up an interesting thing that was the second thing that I was going to talk about. One of the things that this author said was, for lucky opportunities, actively look for them. And he gave this quote that when I first read it, I actually was it kind of bothered me, but I'll just read you the quote. It's from Kevin Systrom, who is the founder of Instagram. Sorry, not the co-founder. It says he's the founder of Instagram.
Founder of Instagram.
And this is his quote. I have this thesis that the world runs on luck. The question is what you do with it. Everyone gets lucky for some amount in their life. And the question is, are you alert enough to know you're being lucky or you're becoming lucky? Are you talented enough to take that advantage and run with it? And do you have enough grit? Do you have enough resilience to stay with it when it gets hard?
So why did it bristle you at first?
This idea, the idea that are you alert enough to know you're being lucky? And so my question was, in essence, that's a little bit of what luck is. How do I get alert enough to know I'm being lucky? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? How can I, and that's where I thought, okay, streaking has helped me with that, to be more alert. Because why? What is streaking? Streaking is taking something from an occasional thought to bringing it to this conscious place where you're intentionally putting effort and thought into it consistently. Small, but consistent, rigid consistency, and taking it from this place that is an occasional intentionality to a consistent, conscious intentionality. When you're doing that, you're going to see more opportunity. So I think about what you talked about with your writing. Because you're writing all of the time, a writing streak, you are actively seeking out.
Good point. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Well, I think about how this opportunity came. Because you have been writing, more people have seen what you were writing, and then someone asked you, hey, I've been writing a book. Will you take a look at it? Now you had the opportunity to give feedback, and in a more personal way, because you understand the writing process more personally because you've been doing it.
Yeah.
Then that feedback was given, and they were like, that's really good feedback. Would you be interested in writing a little bit? So now this opportunity, you kind of got, quote unquote, lucky, but did you? Was it luck, or was it your streak helping to be intentional and being more aware of opportunities and taking them as they come, little opportunities that then turn into bigger opportunities?
Yeah.
Hence, being more aware. So when he says everyone gets lucky for some amount of time, it's this idea that when you take the small opportunities that come your way, and
Right.
as you continue to take those, now bigger opportunities come. And so from the outside, it looks like, wow, you just got this great big opportunity. But really, there's been a whole bunch of small opportunities that led up to this big one. And because you've been taking those small ones, you're prepared for that bigger one, and you see it when it comes.
I've been thinking about, as you've been talking, how doing something consistently does give you the ability to see what you otherwise would have missed. And
Yes.
doing something laughably small consistently gives you the ability also to be successful, so that when the opportunity presents itself, you feel that you're ready to receive it. Or maybe you don't feel exactly ready, but it's not like something that you're lifting the weight for the first time.
Right.
You've been lifting it for a long time. You've been doing a lot of it over a lot of different days, months, and years sometimes. And now when it comes along, you look at it and say, okay, I think I can do this. This is a
think I
great
can do this.
opportunity. And that relates back to what we were saying a few podcasts ago about fighting the imposter syndrome,
Yes.
is that the now lucky break, the lucky opportunity comes along, and I'm not an imposter.
I'm more prepared for it.
I'm more prepared
I
for
saw it.
this.
So the thing, when I said this quote kind of bothered me, what bothered me, and now I appreciate it, is that sometimes this idea of, well, you just got to pay attention and notice when you're lucky. A lot of times we're given these things and you're like, how? How do I pay attention? How do I notice when I'm being lucky? And that's where I look at it and I'm like, the streak answers the question how so often.
Exactly. If I am pursuing who I want to be and doing the things consistently that I need to do to become that person, the lucky breaks will happen.
I believe that is
Every single
totally
time.
true.
Absolutely.
Every time. You're going to be in the right places. You're going to be, because you're actively pursuing who you want to be.
Yeah. I look at, for example, streaking itself, streaking, the concept, the methodology, and the company, Streaking LLC. And it has come about because of consistency. It's one of the things actually that I have been so grateful for, and that I want to, and Jamie and I both have been grateful for this. We're going to talk about how streaking, the movement, has built through time and how significant each individual has been in this because of the consistency. And that has created, if you will, luck. I mean, I don't know how to. I also look at luck
We've
as
been really
divine.
lucky.
We have, and it's divine. I mean, I look at it as God is in my life, and there has been some major things that He has done to help us along this road. And I believe that's part of the serendipity as well.
I agree.
This has been fun.
I know.
We
And
look-
I'm excited to continue talking about this in the future podcasts.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of blogs that we're going to highlight. Laurel wrote a blog that we're going to
That we're gonna
highlight
do
and
next
talk
time.
about, but we look forward to it. Hey, if you've gotten lucky and you want to share it with us in a streak or whatever it is, please let us know. Jeffrey, Jeffery at streakingmastery.com, or
Jamie at JAMI@streakingmastery.com.
until we talk next time.
Keep streaking.
It's the small and simple things that make you grow into what you're hoping